So, good morning, my witchy friends, and welcome to another edition of Walking in the Shadows. Shadow work continues today, and still trying to figure out how to live freely and still express myself and find the creativity that is hidden from all of the stuff that I've gone through over the years, and I've just taken the last 5 weeks to delve deeper into my shadow self to see what's going on with me. And this week's been all about action and thought. I had lots of sword cards and lots of wand cards, but today, which is really funny because yesterday was Four of Wands, and you would think because it was dealt with the heart chakra, it would have been an emotion card, but it really wasn't. Today I have the Healer of Cups, which would be the Queen of Cups in a traditional tarot deck. And the Queen of Cups is about somebody who has, in a traditional tarot deck, who has control of her emotions. She holds the Ace of Cups in her hands. It has a cover over the top of it. She sits perched in her seashell throne, looking out over the waters around her. This woman has it under control, even with the cup being sort of covered so as not to really let people see what's in the cup and what she deals with. I'm a Sag, so not so much for me, and not so much with the trauma that I have endured over my life. So I've had this card come up before. It is one of the past week's focus, and the Healer of Cups in this deck, the subtitle is Healing the Inner Child. I've shown this one to you guys before. That's it. And before I delve into the book, because this deck is new to me and I'm not real familiar with it, I still have to read what's in there, and I have the fucking attention span of a gnat, so I don't always remember all the stuff that I'm supposed to remember. So I just sat quietly with this card this morning and looked at it. And the three things that I'm going to point out to you that came to my mind when I journaled about them this morning was, if you can't see, I swear, how this card is, there are actually three figures in the card. One is definitely a spirit. One is definitely the woman doing the work, and the woman inside of her, she holds a child. All three are lit in their heart. So it's all this shadow work that's being done. And the very first thought that I had is, you're not doing this alone. I did a meditation last night before I went to bed that was all about breaking contracts, soul contracts that you had before you came in here. Things that generationally you brought in with you that were in your DNA when you came. Things that were thoughts by the people that created you way back into your ancestral tree that continue to affect this person in this life. And so I broke those contracts symbolically last night. And I sort of felt like when I looked at this card this morning that I was not alone in that. My ancestors are standing back looking at me going, you're the one. And so sounds like I am so fucking full of myself, but I really am not. Honestly, I don't know why. I remember thinking to myself when I was listening to what my ancestors were saying, because they were part of this meditation, standing there as little children, encouraging me to go forth as this spiritual being, this person that figured it out when no one else did, which is not really entirely true. I think that my mother was probably pretty fucking enlightened and just not quite all the way open to something. She was still held back by some of her orthodox beliefs. I believe my grandmother, her mother, was probably pretty enlightened, but even more held back by her beliefs and the time period that she was born in, being a female, not really having control over what she wanted to do with her life, how she wanted to live it, what she wanted to do as a vocation. None of that was her choice. Not even her husband was her choice. It was picked out by the father of her family. Hey, Lisa. So she had to kind of do whatever was expected of her. And so in my meditation last night, I broke contracts, and I am the one that's going to go forth and encode this DNA. And I don't know what to do about that, since I already have a kid that has some of that baggage DNA inside of him. I mean, I guess that's sort of his journey at this point. But hopefully what I will bring to the table as the crone of the family, as I continue to go forward in this journey, is a little bit of enlightenment that will touch at least one person, and they won't have to struggle the way that I did. This card tells me I'm not alone. This card tells me that I'm still a work in progress, and wanting to feel better and be able to express my boundaries and stand up for myself in a loving, kind way is a work in progress, and I'm not right there yet. And Sages want things yesterday, man. I want to be healed, and I want to be whole, and I want to have the right words to say to people when they cross those boundaries, but I don't want to say them in ways that are going to harm them. You know, I'm not trying to start fights with people when I express what I need in whatever situation I'm in, whether it's with a friend, a family member, a stranger on the street. I have replayed over and over again that fella coming up to my girlfriend and I at the restaurant and giving me shit about the Black Lives Matter shirt. And my new scenario for anybody that comes up to me like that is, I feel really sorry for you. That's what I want to say. I love you. I am so sorry that you are so angry that you came up to a total stranger to vent what you needed to vent because you have no outlet for it. And so here I sit, and if I can be that for you in this moment, and then maybe hold your hand and help you feel better about who you are, and let you know that you're valid and your feelings are valid and the things you need to express are valid, then that's what I want to do with people who feel like they can just come up and say whatever. That people that look at me and say, Black lives don't matter, or all lives matter, and instead of saying, but Black lives don't. You know what I mean? I want to be that person that gives that solace to somebody because no one gave it to me. And I understand what it's like to feel like you're not heard, that you're not loved, that you're not valid, that the things inside of you don't matter. The stuff that you express to people, especially the people that you love, is being left unheard, untended. You are ignored, disrespected. All of that stuff, I know what that feels like. So when someone comes up to me, especially someone that doesn't know me, and feels like they can just unload that stuff on me, the proper reaction shouldn't have been what mine was. Go fuck yourself and get back in your goddamn car. The proper answer was what I just said. I am so sorry that you feel like that you are so unheard and so disrespected that you felt coming to a total stranger over a t-shirt was the thing you needed to do to get some of your frustration out. Is there anything else you want to say to me? How can I help you? What can I do to make you feel better? Because it's not about my t-shirt. It's about how you feel. And that's why you say what you do. It's not that you're mad at me because I'm wearing that shirt. You're mad about something else. I don't know what it is because I don't know who you are, and I'm not going to try to even guess or judge what that is. But we all have baggage. And until we fix that stuff inside of ourselves, there is no way that we can ask other people for what we need. Because when we, at least for me, when I feel like I'm going to ask somebody for what I need, I feel like that's going to just open the doors for them to walk away from me and abandon me again, because that's what's happened to me most of my life. Yeah, when a woman dares to express herself, she's a bitch. She's unhinged, crazy, emotional, but men can act like raving lunatics, and there's nobody questions that. You know, it goes right back to the boys will be boys thing. And I think what we really need to start saying is humans will be humans, because we all have the capacity to act like an idiot, and occasionally we all will fall into that. Nobody's perfect, you know. I'm not perfect. My family's not perfect. And for a long time, I saw some people in my family as perfect, and all that did was set me up for disappointment, and then also for some guilt. For what did I do? How did I ignore that? What did I do to cause some of this? So when I wrote my little notes this morning, I realized again, I'm still a work in progress. This has only been like 4 or 5 weeks of really intensive shadow work. It was actually 6 weeks of therapy that I've been in right now, where I've been meeting with my therapist once a week. So to expect that 60 years in 6 weeks is going to be fixed is actually setting myself up again for disappointment. I'm pretty happy with where I've come from and where I'm at right now. There's still some things that I do and say that disappoint me on a daily basis, but I'm that work in progress, and I get that. I'm not alone. I have ancestors and guides and divinity all working around me in the shadows. This card just reinforced that to me this morning. They're there. They're standing there encouraging me. I literally, while I laid there last night and was doing that that ancestral baggage cutting thing, the soul contract thing, and the guided meditation, when the person was speaking, said, all of your ancestors are there. They're little children now. I literally reached up and grabbed my hand and held it like this, as if I was holding hands with those people in that circle. It was an amazing thing to feel and to experience those people all standing there as little kids, and knowing that they were wanting me to release this work, that I was the person that was here to break some of the bonds that had been generationally forged. It's almost like that whole thing in A Christmas Carol, when Marley comes to Scrooge and says, your chain was this thick and this heavy 7 Christmases ago. That's the shit we're carrying with us if we don't choose to bust the chain and walk towards our freedom, which is what this whole week has been about for me. The repair will come. It's not out of, the repair is not out of a defensive posture or act. When I feel disrespected, unheard, my boundaries are crossed, right away I crouch and I'm ready to go after people. Still, I'm a little better able to control it. I wasn't particularly happy with the way I did things this week, but I did not threaten to burn down the house or kill people, which was my normal go-to. I got a little angry. I got a little heated. I felt it in my chest. My stomach hurt a little, and my voice was raised. But when I knew that I couldn't affect any positivity in the conversation I was having, I just sort of shut it down. Okay. And when people look at you and go, okay, it doesn't mean that you've won the argument. It just means that they're just not willing to go there with you right now. At least for me, it's my mental health that tells me you just got to stop. Is this confrontation, this conversation, this argument, this problem that we're trying to work through right here worth how I'm going to feel for the next 16 days? Is it worth it to me? Or should I just let this shit go and figure out a different way on a different day? Put it on the back burner, let it sit, and think about it for a while and figure out, how am I going to handle this in a different way that's going to be more constructive to everybody, so that when I express how I feel, I do it out of love, and they hear it out of love. They receive it out of love. They don't automatically want to go into a defensive posture and think that I'm coming at them for whatever reason, I feel like my feelings are neglected, ignored, and don't matter. I even wrote in my book, Give Yourself Time to Heal, in the notes of my of the tarot book this morning, or a couple of weeks ago when I first did it. I need to cultivate intimacy with myself. So that's part of the reason why every morning for the last now 4 mornings, I have woken up, and before I have had conversation with animal or human in my house, the first conversation I'm having is with myself. Good morning, beautiful. Let's make it a great day. I didn't do it this morning, but I'm going to do it with you guys right now. My prayer to my gods and to the universe is that I would be open first to receive from them, that I let them know that I am grateful that, again, here I am, healthy, happy, and whole, when so many other people are struggling, that I want to be a service to all the people I come in contact in my personal life, my friends, my family, and my work life. My job as a real estate agent isn't to sell houses and get money. My job as a real estate agent is to work with my buyers and sellers, whether the seller is mine or the buyer is mine, and make sure that everybody's protected and happy and gets a little bit of something that they want, that they're protected by in so many different ways. One of the ways is men that walk straight into the garage and then say, I can live without the garage. When the last 17 houses we looked at, that's the first place they went. Not just, is the house safe and sound? Are you getting what you want for this amount of money? It's really important that I become a help to people. I've always been a nurturer my entire life. It brings me joy. So let me be a help to people. How can I help people? That's my prayer. That I can help people. That I'm open to what's happening around me. That I feel the connection between all living things. And that I let go of the stuff that's not in my control. There's certain things I affect change to, and certain things that I cannot. Everything that is beyond my control, I just need to live in grace and understand that today's the only day I have. And today's a good day. Today I'm okay. Today I feel all right. It's important to be, that's what the meditation does, is let you live in yourself. At this moment, I am okay, and I am present right here in this moment, and everything is okay with me. Everything's okay. I'm still trying to learn more about how I can be constructive with my anger without harm to myself and others. All of that's really important. So I guess what is it? I said 6 weeks into this. I have another 17 to go. And I only have 6 more weeks with my therapist, and then I go to monthly check-ins with her. But I think the next 6 weeks are going to be about healing this inner child of mine. I really need to work on that. I really think that that's probably why it came up in the 6th week of being whole and being healed and being happy. I need to heal little Michelle inside of me. I need to think more of myself than I do, because I don't respect myself either. And the reason and when you don't, well, how you treat yourself is how others will treat you. And I don't respect myself. I don't respect myself enough to tell people when they're not respecting me, or to ask for what I want. And in some cases, to demand what I want. Because there are some cases where you do need to demand what you want. I'm not saying you have to be a fucking Karen, but there are things in your personal life, in your home life, in your life with your significant other, where it's just not okay for them to do and say the things they're doing and saying. You need to tell them, this is how it makes me feel. And this is what you're doing to me when you say those things to me. Because otherwise, they think they can continue to walk all over you. And then you have to be gentle with yourself and understand that this is what you've cultivated for a really long time. And so this is the expectation they have. They have the expectation. My friends, my family have the expectation that they can look at me and tell me, you can't dress that way, you can't talk that way, you can't wear your hair that way, you can't have that political affiliation public for everyone to see. Because I let them. I can't just keep letting people do whatever the fuck they want to do to me. Because that hurts me on the inside and makes me feel terrible and brings out my depression and brings out my panic and brings out my anxiety. And for the last week, I haven't needed anxiety medicine. I mean, I took it to go to sleep because I like the way it makes me feel to go to sleep. But I didn't have panic attacks this week. So just think about where that can work in your life. I do these things for me, not really for anybody else. But I do them so that other people who stumble upon me here or on YouTube, and if you're on my YouTube, please give me a little like. Ring that bell to remind you of when I upload a new video. I try to do one every single day. That it might help somebody else. That they might see that they're not the only one struggling. This is Witch Michelle signing off for another day.